Hey guys, how's it going? It's Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about Jurassic World Chaos Theory, the newest season that just came out. And I have to say something. I haven't. It's been a couple weeks since I finished watching the episodes, since I binged through the season in like 2 days, I think. So I have all my notes, but I don't remember exactly everything that happened in accordance with my notes. But we're just gonna be reading through everything, and this is a review, and it's also kind of like an overview of the events as they're happening, just to kind of like keep pace with the show. So, and then kind of like, I'm seeing like an event as it's going on, and I'm writing a note pertaining to the event. So it's kind of like real time note taking, notoriety kind of thing, whatever. Starting off in episode one, my notes are a bit sparse, and pretty much my notes say, Penis Head Lady is terrifying. The French are involved. This sucks. I trust Barry. He has a funny accent. And then we see that Kenji is mad at Ben, and I know he is, but man, I just wish they would have a single freaking conversation while on that plane. A level headed bro to bro. We've known each other. We've gone through thick and thin survival mode crap, and just have a conversation. They're mad because, like, yeah, Ben should have said something about semi knowing that Brooklyn was alive. Like he quote unquote knew she was alive, but again, like I said in the last recording in the season two or whatever, he knew, but he also didn't have like 100% verifiable proof, which is why he was afraid to say it. But he still had enough evidence to show them, be like, guys, check this out. I think Brooklyn's alive. You could have you could have done anything different. You could have done everything different, but then we wouldn't have drama. So I just wish that Kenji and Ben would have a conversation. You guys have hours on this plane to chat and to figure it out. But no, we just like, and they ride the plane. Time skip, and they didn't say a single word to each other. But no, now they're yelling at each other. Actually, we switched over, and now they're just yelling. They're getting mad, and they're getting their feelings. Not talking, yelling. They're talking very loudly. But hey, they are communicating just a little bit. Darius, though, is always playing the middleman. He can never pick a side, which, hey man, I can relate to. Darius, me and you, we're like one and the same. We're exactly the same. We are the same person. We just sit right in the middle and try to make everybody happy because trauma. Kenji, though, is also being incredibly petty with how he's going about it and all of his actions, so on and so forth. He's just being petty, which, again, I get. I'm a petty person. I can be very petty. My next note says, all great. Autopilot, that can't be trusted. I guess Barry, who's the Frenchman on the plane taking them to wherever they're going, I don't remember, puts the plane on autopilot. And it's literally just him crewing this plane, taking the Nublar 5 to wherever it is they're going that I don't remember right now. Bumpy's egg got buckled in. And that made me laugh. My note says Bumpy's egg is buckled. Ha. Nah, man, just hold it. Planes get bumpy, no pun intended. Yeah, dude, just hold the egg. You don't need to buckle it in. If you hit some turbulence, it's an ovular, smooth object prone to being crushed. I'm pretty sure the eggs have two purposes. That's being eaten and crushed. Okay, fine, three purposes. Sometimes they get born. But yeah, you put that shit in a seatbelt, you buckle that thing to the plane, it's going flying, just saying. Sammy brings up a point that I agreed with. The way that Brooklyn was treating them before now is pretty unforgivable, given like the distance. So when Sammy interjects, she brings up the points of just like, how are we supposed to trust her? I mean, is this even the Brooklyn we knew? And how Brooklyn was treating them leading up to all this in season two, like the flashbacks, Brooklyn was just like, hi, oh, gotta go by. Hi, oh, gotta go by. I'm doing this dark dinosaur, research thing, and I gotta go. And she just neglected all of her friends. It was so secretive and so just ignored them and so harsh. So yeah, I can get Sammy's point of view of just like, this isn't even Brooklyn, whatever. They also right away establish that they don't trust Barry, their pilot, which means we probably should trust him. At least that's usually how it goes. It's always the opposite. But of course, there's a Stegosaurus on the plane that's having issues. It's part of like a transport plane or whatever have you, and the Stegosaurus is having issues. So just gotta keep the episode interesting. They have to save it and keep the kids who watch the show entertained with something loud and yelling and something happening. But no, of course not. It's now running around. The thing was having like a my tummy hurts issue, so they're trying to figure it out. And now the thing's like, oh, my tummy really hurts, and it starts flailing around. And the Nublar 5 made the situation worse, like always. And then I wrote, motherfucker just punctured the plane. yeah, the Stego's tail whipped around and stabbed a hole through the plane. That's not happening. I don't see the Stegosaurus whipping its tail and letting its tail spikes actually stab through the hull of a plane. Do you know how strong that shit is? Not to mention the pressure on the outside of it being in the air and flying makes it even stronger. I believe that's how science works, I think. But yeah, anyway, so it punches a hole in the plane, and now the plane's like going down. And of course, Barry, I believe, gets knocked out or immobilized in some way, and Ben and Kenji run to the cockpit to try to stabilize the plane to avoid a crash, but it's on autopilot, and even if it weren't, there's no way the two of them they took the I could land a plane bullshit guy cocky ego thing to a whole new level, and they're like, yeah, we can land this plane. But no, they kind of get the plane to slow down in a way a little bit enough for them to hit the ground, just not in a nosedive, and they live. They hit the ground, it skids, and they crash, but they're okay. They're alive. Plane's not alive, but they're alive. Although here's something funny I noted. At 21 minutes and 38 seconds of episode 1, we get another animation glitch, which I've seen in which I have noted on the channel. There's like a small short that I made of Darius's sleeve for his t-shirt, like clipping and like readjusting or like resizing itself very subtly. And immediately in episode 1, I see the broker holding her, when we switch to broker, she's holding her phone to her ear, and then the phone like snaps into place. Like, like the character model lifts up to the ear, and then to keep it in place, the animator like attaches it to the ear, and you can see it kind of subtly snap into place. It's crazy. My note, Brooklyn is given her arm by the broker. She's given a robotic arm, and I wrote, "Oh shit! Brooklyn gets her arm back. It's fapping time." So I guess she now has the ability to masturbate. That's the joke I made. Again, this is all me reacting in real time. Okay, episode 2. We're riding in the back of a truck while it's snowing. The Nublar 5 separate themselves from Barry and escape him by getting into like a fucking snow Uber Jeep thing truck and leave Barry there. So, yeah, riding the back of his truck while it's snowing, and I wrote, "Been there." So I've done that. Ben is bringing them to his girlfriend's house, apparently, in Italy, where the plane crashed, which is nuts. Hey, we landed in Italy. Hey, guys, guess what? 3.5 minutes down the road via snow truck, my girlfriend lives here. And then we get there. I wrote, "Oh, fuck. She's hot." Like, damn. They went nuts designing this character. They made her, like, so impossibly attractive. And then I wrote, "I fuck with that outfit, too." I think she's wearing, like, leggings and a thigh skirt and like a turtleneck or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, I wrote I fuck with that outfit too. Her name is Gia for future reference, so I can remember that. Then I wrote I don't trust her at all. She's wearing eyeliner and eyeshadow. She's evil. So I don't know. I just thought it was too fortunate, too serendipitous that Ben's girlfriend happens to live here and they crashed here. And it's like, oh, my girlfriend. And yeah, I just felt like she was a double agent for the French or something. And then we see Nona, who is Gia's mother or grandmother, some relation. And I wrote, Nona looks like a Meat Canyon character. I wrote, so we're really going to let the Italian lady rant with no subtitles. Nona goes off constantly with a rapid fire of syllabus of just Italian words, and I don't know, and they don't give you subtitles for 95% of it, so you have no idea what the fuck they're saying, which is the point. I appreciate that we're out of the loop just like all the other characters, but it's still just like your eyes start to kind of glaze over when she's talking. She's like, there's nothing for me to engage with here besides her emotions, and she's Italian and angry, so like, what am I supposed to get out of this? Then we see all the Nublar 5 hanging out in a spare bedroom because they're staying there for the night or whatever have you. And I said, man, watching them in that spare room makes me want to have a sleepover because they're just like hanging out, talking, sleeping on the floor, on the bed, on the couch, and they're just hanging out. Man, I miss the days where you just kind of hung out with a couple friends and had a sleepover and stuff. That shit was good. Then Darius and Kenji are driving around to go do something, I don't remember, and they almost hit a dinosaur, which is crazy because why is there a dinosaur here? Danger. Then the egg hatched, and they're trying to find the baby because it's gone. Such unnecessary drama plays out with Nona making meatballs while they're looking for the baby. So Nona is making meatballs. She's making it from scratch. So she's like putting the meat in the grinder, and it's coming out all burgery and shit, all stringy and burgery, and then she's rolling it and pounding it into balls and stuff like that. And they're watching like from peering around the corner like a Pixar movie, like, oh no, Ben is 1 second away from literally passing out like a cartoon girl. Because they're watching Nona grind up meatballs, thinking she grabbed the baby that just hatched and is currently grinding it up for meat. Then Sammy starts being a real bitch. And I don't like calling women a bitch, but Sammy's being a real bitch. And then they find the baby, and it's baby Bumpy, and it's puny. Holy shit. It's like literally 2 hands. It's like 2 palms. It'll fit in 2 palms. Like you cup your hands together, it'll fit in there. Stupid thing to point out, but Sammy and Yasmina were side by side, both wearing tank tops, and it looked like their collarbones were just duplicated in the character models. So, like, yeah, imagine both of them shoulder to shoulder next to each other, and both of them are wearing tank tops, and it looked like they were the same torso character model, which is crazy because they're both different body types. Like Sammy slimmed down a lot from the first series, but she's still like a little bit heftier, but not like big. But she's got a little bit extra on her. And Yasmina is athletic and very fit. And but so it looked like that by the collarbones alone, it looked like their torsos were duplicated, and it was weird. Anyway, they named the baby Smoothie, and I don't know why, and I don't like it. What the fuck was the point? Did I miss something? Why did you name it Smoothie? I guess because of his color palette? Whatever. I thought it was dumb. And then my last note for episode 2 says, more of these drawn art pieces in the credits. I love it. I love when they do concept art for the credits because it's a 3D animated show. It's a CG show. So having that nice 2D artwork is just gorgeous, and I love it. I wish more shows would do that. Episode 3. So it's so awkward as they're playing chess in dead silence. We're talking about episode 3. We're switching over to Broker and Brooklyn, the B&B team, and they're playing chess in absolute dead silence, and it's so awkward. And they're on a plane going to wherever it is they're going, and it's just like, man, I don't want to be here. This sucks. But now it looks like the broker's trying to psychoanalyze her while being on the plane. She's like questioning her and like, playing chess, we're doing the whole chess metaphor, like, oh, pawn to E3 or whatever shit. And you're just like, oh, this is so deep. And then hold on. God. So I wrote, Broker is really adamant about Brooklyn removing the limb. So like with her making I believe I'm writing that, making sure she's keeping it on. Like Brooklyn's like uncomfortable with it. She's still trying to figure it out. She's like, it doesn't feel real. It feels like, she's getting this gift from somebody that she's obviously doesn't trust but has to pretend to trust. So she feels weird about having the arm and trying to get used to it. And she's using it in chess and trying to figure it out. But Broker is making a real big bold point of just like, make sure you keep that arm on there. We all know you need to have another arm. It's cool to have 2 arms. All the coolest people have 2 arms. So I wrote, it's a tracker, a mind control device, and a dehumidifier for sure. And then we see Dachshund. Man, fuck this guy. So this is before Jurassic World 3. I'm still having trouble keeping track of the timeline because I haven't seen Jurassic World 3 outside of when it came out in theaters. But we do see that B&B and Dachshund are together, and they're talking about a bunch of bullshit or whatever have you. And we do see that Brooklyn is secretly recording their conversation about her and Broker taking over the Malta Dino site. So obviously, since Brooklyn is recording their conversation, the villains have to monologue every single possible detail. They're like, yes, it would be a shame if somebody were to record our conversation because we are currently expositing every single detail of our plan in excruciating detail. Ugh. Like, they're just absolutely saying every single shred of information because Brooklyn's recording secretly. But, yeah. And then we see that Brooklyn messages Ben again. Oh, no. Interesting. So, she's not really giving any peace of mind to Ben and them because she's requesting information from him. So, she's just, like, using them again. She's so fucking tone deaf of her relationship with her friends. So anyway, then Ben replies with the video message with the others in the shot except for Kenji. So he gets the message from Brooklyn, and then Ben quickly records a little video with the other group except for Kenji in the video. and that was really nice. I got goosebumps when I saw that. It was just really sweet to just see Brooklyn get to see her friends again. And except for Kenji, he's like, "Fuck this shit." I just think he wasn't in the room, or he intentionally didn't want to be. I don't remember. Again, this was weeks ago, but she looks so happy to see them. You can see it in her eyes, and it's just like, and you can tell she's happy, and that gives us as the audience a lot of hope, and her friends hope, because she sends a video of herself back, and she looks remorseful as hell, dude. But she's playing her role, being kind of stuck up and mean and stuff like that. But and everyone is really hurt by her mannerisms, but it's still, they got to see a video, so they're all confirmed more, but they're all confirmed in the wrong way because of the role she has to play. So get away from all that. Apparently, Penis Head Lady happens upon Brooklyn sending this message in secret with her raptors and almost kills her. She just Penis Head Lady's just like, "Hey, what's up? We're in this hallway together serendipitously. Isn't that crazy? Look at this. I have raptors." And Brooklyn's like, "Oh no, you have raptors." And then she literally tries to kill her with the raptors, but the broker happens upon them as well and steps in and stops the raptors with the remote and threatens Penis Head to not hurt Brooklyn or she'll fucking kill her. So that's an interesting dynamic. Now, Penis Head wants to kill Brooklyn, or just had no problem killing Brooklyn, I guess, but Broker's obviously protecting her, so. After they walk away, Dotson comes over here and whispers to Penis Head Lady, "Hey, they'll be yours. Don't worry. It'll be okay, friend." So obviously now he's telling Penis Head Lady to be patient, and she'll be allowed to kill the B&B team. So yeah, that's his plan. He's planning on using her somehow. So man, traitorisms. Now we go back and we see that Nona is somewhat warmed up to Baby Smoothie, but is still kind of, because she has a huge hatred of dinosaurs. She hates them. She's terrified of them. That's why they were so worried about Nona finding the baby, because she's like, she's just gonna tear his head off and fuck its skull. So we can't have her find out about the baby dinosaur. But they kind of get her to accept the baby a little bit. But she's still like, oh, she's hanging out with the baby, and the baby's in like a cooking pot as she's making food, just kind of hanging out so it doesn't go anywhere. And then it like threatens to pee inside the pan. So she's like, oh no, you don't. So she takes it and she kind of throws it outside into the backyard, which is fenced in, but the fence is in disrepair. So she throws it outside. And like, why would you throw it outside? This is a literal infant dinosaur. It's snowing in Italy, and you're just going to throw it outside at night? That's crazy, dude. What if there's a bird? What if a bird kills it? What if the cold kills it? You don't know. And then we see Smoothie escapes. It goes through a little hole in the fence and it's gone. Good lord. And then we switch to a random neighbor, just to show us that there's a threat in the neighborhood. A random neighbor watching TV, getting mad at sports, as neighbors watching sports do, goes outside to let his dog out or something, and then the neighbor gets fucking killed by a feathered raptor dinosaur. End of episode 3. Episode 4. Baby Bumpy Smoothie is moving through the town like he fucking owns it. This dude is strutting. He's strutting with an ascot, dude. He don't give a fuck. He is night out on the town. But we do see dog is the size of a fucking tomato. And this guy's walking around like, yeah, fuck you and fuck your mother. But he's like a literal rolling fruit. He's tiny. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the hijinks that ensue as they're looking for Baby Bumpy, as we're dealing with Bumpy's baby doing all this bullshit going around town. They're searching, they're yelling for it, and there's like little hijinks going on and goofy stuff and silly. Like, I don't care. It's a kid's show, but it's just a fucking distraction. Get to the plot. We don't need to have. It's like, it's putting pointless obstacles in the way of your characters so the plot doesn't happen too fast, because there's nothing else in between. There's nothing stopping them from doing their shit, so they have to make up some shit to stop them from doing their shit. And I hate that. It's just bad. Okay, so they start arguing. The Nublar Five start arguing about if they even care going after Brooklyn, okay? Big oof. They're all on different sides of like, why would we go after her? Because of how she treated us, she betrayed us, she's bad. It's like, no, but she's Brooklyn. She has to have some kind of a reason. They arguing about if they care about going to Brooklyn, and Yasmina said that in her family, they're always there for each other. Even fucking though Yasmina was not there for Sammy in season 2. Girl, you went to a fucking dino retreat and left your girlfriend on the farm to deal with dinosaurs and her whole family for like all along. That was like, what, like 6 months or something? I don't remember. But like, you literally abandoned your fucking girlfriend because you were too scared to be on the mainland, and you ignored her calls. You did literally everything to ignore the love of your life. You are so full of shit, Yasmina, and you are such a liar and a hypocrite. Family is always there for each other. You fucking left your girlfriend for months and you ignore the shit out of her, dude. Oh my god, you treated her like hell. Watching Brooklyn, switching over to them now, trying to use her robot arm to drink water. Something about it, the animation looks like plastic. It looked really bad and robotic, and I hated it. No pun intended, because it was a robot arm, but it just looks super stiff and shiny and bad. Then they mentioned Owen Grady at some point, which made me physically cringe because Owen Grady is fucking terrible, awful character, bad actor. Don't like Chris Pratt. He's obnoxious. And then there's like a weird shot that we see where the broker's looking. It's like, it's a really intentionally weird shot where the camera angle is positioned behind Brooklyn, but it's behind Brooklyn looking at the broker, but in the corner, but like Brooklyn is poking into the frame, right? But it's just Brooklyn's boobs. Like it's a side shot of just her tits taking up a third of the screen as we're focused on the broker. Why is who did that shot? It's so intentional. It's not even like looking past her arm and like a little bit of like the outline of her boob shows past her arm or something like that. No, like it's literally just like we're looking. Just imagine a shot of the broker, and then on the, I think it's on the right side of the screen. I believe it's on the right side of the screen. Just do like a half circle taken out of like a quarter of the screen. That's just a cutout of Brooklyn's boob. What is that shot? That it you had that was so intentional. You put the camera there. It's so weird. All right, so then we go back to the Nublar Five and looking for Smoothie in the court, and then like in the courtyard in the town where there's like a bunch of like food and fruit stands and stuff. The raptor, there's a fight, and it's called the Pyroraptor, and they're dealing with it. And they're like, oh no, the Pyroraptor, and then they're like trying to not get killed by it as they happen upon it. We've already seen that this thing murders because it just killed that dude who was watching football. Then we switch back to Brooklyn, so we're just going back and forth, and we see that they're in this underground fighting ring, and I'm like, oh, is this the same one from Jurassic World? I wonder if this is where the timeline merges, and will we see Owen? I do want to rewatch that movie, just because now I'll have this show and this series in mind. Because again, I haven't seen it since I saw the first Jurassic World a couple times, because that movie is okay. I just like the I just like the big dinosaur. Um, But I haven't seen the second or the third one outside of the first time I've seen them. So, and I did not like either of those other two, but I do need to watch them again now, keeping this, because that's the second movie, right? The second one has to deal with the underground with Malta and shit. Because then, yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I don't remember. No, I don't know, because we see the giant crickets in this, the locusts. I was making a joke. I don't know. Anyway, so then we switch back after we see this whole underground ring with Broker, Brooklyn, and Dodson going into Malta's underground ring. We switch back, and Nona, what the fuck? You just scolded the raptor in Italian and it's retreating? She literally fully bitched out the Pyroraptor, and it's like, well, you're speaking a different language, lady. How am I supposed to respond to this? And it backs out. That was crazy. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. But apparently, it wasn't her. There was a regular raptor that was scaring it off. And another one, and another one. The gang's all here. All of a sudden, we got three other raptors and the Pyroraptor, and Nona is dead in the middle. I would be shitting should I be her. So, the three raptors, which are penis head ladies raptors, all try to fight the Pyroraptor, of course, but Nona's still kind of trapped in a bad situation. My note I wrote here, I said, so many of their problems could be solved if they had one MP5. If they had an MP5, they could fix everything. But yeah, Ben manages to run in between all of that fighting, grabs Nona, and Fireman carries her out of there. I know Ben is like 6 feet tall and pretty fit, but Nona's still like a 65-year-old lady who's a bit on the heavier side, and he just fireman carries her out of there. That ain't happening. But yeah, Penis Head Lady is here with the Raptors, and things are happening. They actually managed to redirect, Penis Head Lady and the Raptors managed to redirect and capture the Pyroraptor in the back of a van. And everyone somehow survived, which, no, they didn't, but okay. Episode 5. Camp Fam is heading to Malta to go after Brooklyn, except Sammy and Kenji want to head home? Ridiculous. Grow the fuck up. Your friend is clearly in the shit. Yeah, so basically, Sammy and Kenji want to stay and take the next flight home to America and go do something else there, while everyone, Darius, Yasmina, Ben, and Gia all want to go after Brooklyn, or heading to Malta to go after Brooklyn. They're all in a car heading there. Um, so while they're separated, Sammy calls Brooklyn while she is in. Oh, sorry. Before they split up, they're all kind of like planning what they're gonna be doing, and they're all in like the spare bedrooms. And Sammy and Kenji are like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to America. We're gonna go home." And then the rest of the group's like, "We're gonna go after Brooklyn." So Sammy's like, "Hey, I'm gonna prove that she doesn't give a fuck about you and me." So she calls Brooklyn while she's in the underground dinosaur black market in Malta, and Brooklyn hangs up on the call because she's being watched. She can't answer. And then they use this. Sammy's like, raises an eyebrow, like, see, I told you she doesn't care about us. And she just like uses that as some form of proof. Like, I don't answer. I haven't answered the phone for the people in my life who I love to death because I was busy. Like, she could have been busy, dude. They start arguing and more and more. That's that they need to shut up and not fucking argue, just talk. Jesus, I thought they had matured a little bit. But no, they're just acting like fucking teenagers. And then we switch over to Brooklyn and we see that she was being stalked by some dude the whole time in the market. So she notices and then she kind of splits off and she chases after him. And when she catches him, this guy's acting like a big fan of hers. And I feel like I recognize the voice actor, but I looked him up and I don't recognize the voice actor, but he has such a familiar voice. Anyways, this guy knows who she is from her YouTube channel or whatever it is. I think it was, whatever YouTube clone that she was posting on back in the first series, back in Camp Cretaceous. She was that vlogger. She was the unboxer of whatever's. And this guy's name is Davi or Davy. My phone kept correcting it to Davis because it's DAVI. So if I ever say Davis, just know I'm saying Davi. He's a journalist and he's investigating biosyn. Then we switch back, and it's awkward because Kenji and Darius are, I believe, now driving their car going somewhere, if I remember correctly, and they're kind of like talking, airing out their grievances a little bit. And then we switch back to Ben, and Ben and Gia are so cute together. And then we see Sammy and Yaz, and oh wait, they're talking, not yelling. They're sort of talking, but they're being really petty and childish. But they're still talking a little bit, going at each other with their differing opinions of the situation. But yeah, then the whole point of like what Yaz said about family and stuff like that gets brought up, and oof, they start yelling. They're calling each other cowards. Then they apologized, but they needed to get that frustration out. And in the notes I said I think they're gonna break up because their conversation absolutely reached a fever pitch, and then they kind of chill for a little bit and they apologize, but you can tell something, the levee is breaking. Um, which I think is just ridiculous. Yeah, they have their Yasmina doesn't approach things the best, but I do think she has the a more balanced head on her shoulders, and Sammy is way too emotional about it, which she has a right to be. She has an absolute right to be emotional over Brooklyn and over how Yasmina was treating her. I am not saying Sam is wrong, Sammy. I'm not saying Sammy is wrong. I'm not saying Yasmina. Well, I'm definitely saying Yasmina is wrong with how she approached a lot of things, how much of a hypocrite she's being. But I do think this is something that they could just work out. But we switch over again away from all that. After Sammy and Yasmina have their fever pitch argument, they kind of apologize and it gets like really awkward. We switch over to Penis Head Lady and the broker. And the broker uses her laser pointer because she obviously does not trust Penis Head Lady. And the Penis Head Lady's name, by the way, is her character is called the Handler, but I call her Penis Head Lady because she has micro bangs and looks like her head looks like a penis. So just yeah. Um, so Broker is testing the raptor's loyalty by pointing the laser at the handler, at the Penis Head Lady. But doesn't kill her, of course, but she's just proving a point that with the laser pointer, her well-trained raptors that respond to her whistle and her emotions and stuff can still be used to kill her. And now she definitely just made an enemy out of Penis Head Lady. And we switch back to Sammy, Yaz, and all the group, and they kind of rejoin, and they all kind of like reconvene, and they're both looking down at the ground, and you go, oh no, they absolutely just broke up. Fuck, dude. I said they'll get together at the end once it all comes to light. I'm not worried, but no, dude, it's like devastating. And I'm pretty sure Ben just goes like, "Did you two break up?" And then they like Darius or whatever like elbows him or cups his mouth or something, and it's like, dude, it's so brutal. It's fucking brutal and awkward as hell. And then we switch to the end of the episode, and we see that the Pyroraptor inside the back of the van, the Jeep thing, knocks it off the road by flailing around, and he escapes. Episode 6. So, Sammy and Kenji are going back to America to bring Smoothie to Bumpy. That's their purpose, and to kind of get away from all this shit because they're too emotional about the whole Brooklyn thing and don't trust her and are mad. And that's their plan. They're waiting around they're in Gia's town for the next plane to come through, and then they're gonna drive to the airport and ride home. So while Ben, Yaz, and Darius go after Brooklyn and Gia, I believe too. She's going with them for now, and they're off. They split up. So Brooklyn, switching over to her, is recording a sales video to sell the Raptors. So she's by herself in a room, and she's like doing like a whole pitch of just like, these bad boys right here are so fucking cool. I'll tell you what, right now for $6.99 and 99 cents, we're gonna do. Yeah, she's doing that whole thing, but it's so traumatizing for her because she's like, to sell the video, she has to pet the Raptor, and she has to like just engage with them by herself. The only thing between her and the Raptors killing her is the remote, the laser pointer remote. But it is helping her kind of confront and get over the fear because the raptors were the ones that tore her arm off, not the big dinosaur like we thought. She's like petting it and it starts sniffing her. I'm like, God, I could never do that, dude. Raptors are genuinely so fucking terrifying. Dinosaurs are terrifying. I wouldn't, if dinosaurs came back to life and they were actually actively roaming around, I would not live on land. I would genuinely, I'm scared of the ocean and I wouldn't move to a fucking island. Actually, I'd move underground. I wouldn't be able to live on the surface. Fuck that. Um, Davi is taking flash photography in the fucking catacombs. She sees him going like skulking around with his phone, taking flash photography of these fucking catacombs. You moron, dude. Up your ISO. Don't take flash photography. It's gonna look a little bit blurry, but up your ISO. Don't be fucking stupid. Take exposure shots. Get a tripod. Take some exposure shots. Then they mention the locusts from the third movie, which is something I never wanted to hear about ever again because it was the dumbest fucking shit. Anyway, Brooklyn confronts Davy, I think it's Davy, I don't know how to pronounce it, I don't remember. And she's like, "What are you doing taking flash photography?" He's like, "Oh, I'm taking flash photography." And then they're talking, and then they hear somebody coming, so she grabs Davy and she throws him into a steel like box and then closes the door, and then we pan inside the box, and Davi is face to face with the fucking raptor. She just put him inside the raptor box. The raptors aren't not allowed to kill without a command. Like, the fact that he's in there doesn't mean he's quote unquote safe unless they're commanded to kill. Like, I'm pretty sure with or without the laser pointer, the raptor's just gonna rip his face off. But he's face to face in there and has to stay quiet with the raptor breathing down his face as Broker and all of them show up. So, and I wrote my notes. Brooklyn is losing her grip like on reality because that whole scenario almost could have in 1 second killed Davi. And then I know she had to throw him in there because if Broker and all them saw him, it would have been trouble. But you could have, hear me out, just had him hide behind the boxes. Have him hide behind the raptor cages. They're solid. They wouldn't have seen him. The only way that would have gone bad is if they drove a truck over there and removed the raptor cages, but that would have still gone bad either way because he would have gone with them. So it was you got so lucky. So Ben, Darius, and Yasmina make it to the black market in Malta pretty quickly, I might add. They make it to the black market, and then Yasmina literally sees Penis Head Lady vanish as somebody walks by. So it does that whole movie thing where she's standing in the crowd. Yasmina's like, "Who is that obviously standoutish person that I should recognize and know and remember?" And then somebody walks by the camera angle and she disappears. Shut the fuck up. I hate that shit. Then I said, I think I have a crush on Penis Head Lady. I don't know what it is, but she does something for me. There's something about her wide, unblinking, terrifying, soulless eyes, the microbangs, her freckles, and her just like slender shape. She is a cryptid in every sense of the word, and I think I love her. But she is desperately searching for her raptors because Broker kind of, took them and is keeping them for her own use, obviously. So she's running around trying to find her raptors right now. They do discover that Broker does discover that Davi has been following them. Doesn't know Brooklyn's involvement, but he's just kind of like walking around. I think she shows Broker. I think she shows Broker, or I think Broker shows Brooklyn like security footage of Davi kind of moving around taking pictures and stuff. She's like, "What do you think about this guy, huh? I'm gonna have him killed." And Brooklyn's like, "Okay, I don't know him." And yeah, womp womp, he's gonna get killed. And then later on, I know we're kind of jumping around. I'm just going by whatever my notes say, so I'm sorry about skimming over stuff. Brooklyn decides to meet the gang out in public in a disguise. My tummy flipped, dude. This is so exciting. She decides she's going to meet with her friends and she's covering herself up in a disguise so no one can know who she is out in public, even though she has the most recognizable robot arm and blue hair. So she has to wear like a sort of like hood thing and long coat and stuff like that. So she looks like E.T. dressed up like a person. So yeah, she's going to meet them out in public. End of episode 6. Now for episode 7. Oh God, oh man, oh geez, it's happening. They're actually meeting. So she gets pulled into the alley with them and they reconvene, and it's so nice to see them all together again. And she's actually being open and honest, and she's asking for their help. She's fully vulnerable, and they know that she is indeed their friend and that she's just in it deep. They're in, they're on board, and this is wonderful. They're scheming. Could not be happier, dude. Aw. And they're also using each other's nicknames like Dino Nerd and whatever have you. Like, it's so cute. I love it. We switch back to Kenji and Sammy, and they're just kind of chatting. And I write, I doubt they're actually gonna go home. That is their full intent on going home. But and Gia is apparently still behind with them. Yeah, I forgot to mention Gia stayed behind with them because Ben doesn't want anything happening to her on this whole thing, and it's like, it's our friend, you stay or whatever. So Gia is kind of torturing Sammy with sad talk about relationships, with like how good she's like, yeah, me and my boyfriend are so fucking good together. He has a huge dick, and I really like his smile. And Sammy's just like, I just broke up with my fucking girlfriend, dude. But Kenji saves the moment from breaking down by being a bit goofy. So they're having a good little rapport together. As they're kind of driving around, I think they're heading towards the airport. They're on the road, and they happen upon the van that was carrying the Pyroraptor as it's off the road with the doors open. So I guess they won't be going home probably because now they're dealing with this. So switch over back, and after Brooklyn has separated from the group to rejoin, do her thing, she actually happens upon Davi, and then Penis Head Lady finds them, and she's here to kill them. She's here to kill both of them. Big confrontation. Penis Head Lady actually tears off Brooklyn's robot arm, and Brooklyn is running like a coward. Brooklyn is like so afraid of this lady, even though yeah, she's wearing combat boots, but like I feel like Brooklyn, she's just a person. You could still like fight her like a person. She's not a raptor. You have a chance to fight her, but no, she takes off her robot arm and runs like a coward. Dude, you have a superpower. Your robot arm probably hurts like shit when you punch somebody. That thing's probably really heavy. Even if it's not that heavy, it's still metal and solid. It's not fleshy. It's not gonna buckle with the punch. You could slap the shit. You could slap her into next fucking week, dude. But no, she takes your arm off and you run. But Brooklyn saves herself when she gets cornered by promising by promising Penis Head Lady that she's going to get her raptors back for her. So then we switch back over. So, okay. So to recap what's happening, Gia, Kenji, and Sammy are like driving to the airport when they happen upon the Pyroraptor van that's off the side of the road with the raptor gone. So now they're being distracted by that. Penis Head Lady, switching over, discovers Brooklyn and Davi, and then Davi escapes, and Penis Head Lady and Brooklyn kind of like fight each other a little bit, and Penis Head Lady gets the upper hand, and Brooklyn promises to get her raptors back for her if they help each other, because she knows she's obviously there. She knows that the raptors are separated from her. Then we switch back to Gia, Kenji, and Sammy as they're dealing with the Pyroraptor situation, and there's not really much going on with that. And then we discover that there's actually a giant locust on the road. Fuck those things. And then, nope, the locust, we switch away from that, and it's actually the raptor. He's here. So it kind of jumps around a little bit. We see the giant locust on the road. They're like, why is there a big bug on the road? And then, oh no, instead of the big bug, there's big raptor. And now we deal with big raptor, and the raptor's headed back towards town. So they're definitely not going back to America. So they turn around and they go towards the town to go situate the raptor thing. And then we do end the episode by seeing that Davi is, in fact, still alive. I think he got knocked out in the catacombs when they were fighting. he like hit his head on the wall and was on the ground, and Brooklyn ran down the catacombs to escape Penis Head Lady until they confronted each other. So we switch back and see that Davi is still alive, alone in the catacombs. Almost there, guys. I've been recording this for 45 minutes. So, episode 8. They are really, really leaning hard on Smoothie being cute. And he is, but he's no Bumpy. Bumpy cannot be beat. I just get so tired. They're just focusing so hard on, oh, he's so cute. He's yawning. Like, yeah, I do love it, but also, like, he's not Bumpy. He's Bumpy 2.0, but in a worse way. They're trying to make him a thing, and I don't like him. At this point, I've understood and decided that Gia is not a French insurgent and is not going to betray them, and she is actually who she says she is. She is actually Ben's girlfriend. 2 episodes left. Maybe she's an insurgent, but no, she's not. She's definitely not. She's actually just a genuine good person. So they get out of the car. They're driving on the road, and they stop, and Gia gets out of the car because she sees the raptor feather, and it's like, dog, everyone just wants to get eaten so bad on the show. Now and then they followed the raptor feather into the woods. If I knew there was a giant fucking eagle outside that could carry away a full-grown man and eat him in one gulp, and I saw a big feather on the ground when driving, I am not getting out of my car, picking up the feather and going, there must be a giant eagle around here, and then wandering off into the woods. What the fuck are you doing? I know you're trying to deal with a raptor situation, but how arrogant and how stupid and suicidal. So, then we switch back to Ben, Darius, and Yasmina in Malta, and they're trying to meet up with Barry, the Frenchman, to tell him about the cargo. So yeah, he's also not a bad guy. I guess the French can be trusted, as they're trying to contact him and be like, hey, yo, we're here at this market. Let's go talk about this shit. And then Davi shows up out of nowhere with Ben, Darius, and Yasmina, and he knows them, obviously, because of Brooklyn's stuff, and now we see that Brooklyn is apparently missing. We don't know what's going on with her. Or at least he says she's missing, even though we know that she engaged with Penis Head Lady and struck a deal with her. From his perspective, he got knocked out when Brooklyn disappeared. So, the Raptor, switching back over to Sammy and Gia and Kenji, trying to remember who's on what team right now is so confusing. Switching back to them, and we see that the raptor is stalking some people in the woods who are sledding and getting ready to kill them, and then it just dives into the snow. So in Jurassic World, when we first see this thing, they dive into the water and they swim in the water, but you don't just dive into the snow and swim around under it like it's water. Also, because the snow is not that deep, the people are sledding on it. This thing is like 7 feet tall. It's not diving into the snow and swimming through it. What the fuck is this? It's not a mole. And then we see that the Frenchman gets a phone call from Owen Grady. Will we see this guy, Owen Grady, show up? No, we don't. But he gets mentioned all the time. So switch back to Brooklyn and Penis Head Lady. And I just want Penis Head Lady to say one single word. She has been in the show for 3 fucking seasons, and she's not said a single goddamn word. We've barely heard her make effort noises. Like, ugh, ah, ooh, like those kind of noises. We've barely heard her make any of that besides light, menacing breathing. But the Raptors show up, and in my head, the Raptors are gonna rip her apart, and this is where she dies, because just to prove that she can't control them. But the Raptor let Penis Head Lady pet it. They love her. They are a team. And she fucking smirks. When Penis Head Lady smirked, my heart was set aflutter. I am in love with her. I did not think that we'd actually get an alliance with Brooklyn and Penis Head Lady, which is crazy because now they're planning on setting up the broker and shit's really going down. Then we switch back to the people sledding and the Pyroraptor, and I wrote, the people sledding have the spatial awareness of a turnip, because the raptor is blood orange and screaming, and they don't see or hear it. This thing is, dude, if you guys have ever lived in an environment where, like, during the winter, noise travels really far because there's way less foliage and sticks and shit in the way to block noise. So I can snap my fingers and I can hear that shit a mile away. It gets so dead quiet in the winter. So there's no way these people who are sledding in basically an open field with only a few sparse trees do not hear this 7-foot tall, blood orange, screaming dinosaur. There's no fucking way. They're just like, haha, wee, I'm sledding. Oh no, I got snow in my boot. Like, fuck, dude. But thankfully, Gia manages to get the PA system working that's in that little area and manages to shout over Raptor, Raptor. And also, I noticed that the raptor has like an elk call mixed into its howl. Just something I noticed in the audio. It sounds like an elk. Um, and then it seems like once they got people aware of the raptor, they are able to drive it away from the town and away from these people. Switch back to Darius and everybody, and they find Brooklyn's fake arm on the ground. They find the robot arm on the ground, and they're like, "Oh no, this is a sign that she's really in trouble." Which, like, she was at the moment, but she's fine. But they see that as like, "Oh, they ate everything but her arm," which just means that they're gonna go after Brooklyn now with a different mindset of saving her, and they're gonna fuck up the whole situation by jumping on Penis Head Lady with bad timing or something like that. They're gonna be like, "And now we have our plan to get the broker." And then as Penis Head Lady's about to jump from the shadows, Darius is gonna be like, "I got her," and shoots her in the head with a 22 caliber. It's like, we saved the day. It's like, no, you ruined the plan. Like, that's what's going on in my head. We do see Penis Head Lady, switching back to her, that she kind of whispers something. I think she whispers to the raptor. We don't really hear her though. We just kind of hear like, we hear like, fake words. But I want to hear real words. I want to hear her voice. They're in the back of a van being transported, hiding in the back of there, trying to get closer to the broker and stuff like that. Like, they're in there with like the raptors, I think. And it's because like basically what's going on at this point, to catch you guys up, I'm trying to remember, is Brooklyn recorded the video to sell Penis Head Lady's raptors to a buyer. And the raptors were taken from Penis Head Lady, shown by broker with the laser pointer that they aren't her pets because they would kill her if given the command. So that made Penis Head Lady like want to go after her. Her and Brooklyn joined teams, and now they're in the back of the transport vehicle that is bringing the raptors to the buyer, with the broker unaware that Brooklyn and Penis Head Lady are in the truck with the raptors. Okay? That's what's going on now. So, for no reason, when broker is like opening up the curtain of the back of the truck, it's like one of those like military looking trucks where it has like the fabric canvas over the front of it, and she's like standing in front of it, and then she moves, and then like there's some military dudes or whatever have you, and for some fucking reason, Brooklyn betrays Penis Head Lady, and she like kicks her and tries to kick her out of the truck, but she catches herself from falling out of the truck, and then they flip around, and Penis Head Lady's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up for that," because like, Brooklyn, why did you do that? And then gunfire starts happening on the outside of the truck, and shit's going wrong. The deal is souring, and now so there's gunfire happening outside the truck. The truck starts to drive off, and now Penis Head Lady and Brooklyn are fighting in the back of the truck, and Brooklyn stands no chance because Penis Head Lady is clearly ex-military, so they're fucking each other up. And this must be the scene from Jurassic World where Owen is in the market as everything is going to shit and as chaos happens. We don't see Owen, but I remember that from the movie where the market goes absolutely nuts and dinosaurs start getting on the loose, and that's happening outside of the truck in this scene, I think. Or no, that's not happening outside the truck. That's happening with um Ben and Darius and stuff as they're in Malta. So anyway, now we switch over, and Sammy, as they were on a snowmobile that they used to drive the raptor away, just got run over by an avalanche, and she's buried. I said, predicting it now, this is how the episode ends. An avalanche comes and completely overtakes Sammy on the snowmobile. I said, predicting it now, she'll be in the hospital with injuries and frost damage, and when her and Yasmina see each other again, they'll be like, "I care about you so much," and they're gonna kiss and get back together. That was my prediction. That doesn't happen. Episode 9. We start with the avalanche, the aftermath of it, and Smoothie, God rest his soul, doesn't know what the fuck is happening. He's pretending, but don't pretend. It's calling out. The dinosaur is literally going like, "Meow, meow," like yelling, as if it has any fucking idea that the human being Sammy, on a snowmobile, chased away a dinosaur and got crushed by an avalanche. They're all yelling for her, trying to find her underneath all the snow, and Smoothie's just like, "I'm here to help. I know what's happening. You don't know what the fuck's happening. You're 3 days old. And you're a dinosaur. You don't have the cognitive ability to understand what the fuck is happening." And then the fucking baby dinosaur starts sniffing his sniffer, and he fucking smells her under the snow. No, he does not. Come on. Suspension of disbelief is gone. This baby dinosaur cannot smell Yasmina under the snow. Now, maybe he's smelling the gas from the snowmobile, but also, no, he fucking is not. It takes actual rescue dogs in real life so much training and discipline and skill to be able to do that. And he's just like, oh, she's over there, guys. Check this out. Over here, right here. I smelled her. She's right here. Darius, Ben, Davi, and Yasmina are in the black market. We switch over to them, and they're running around from the stampede that's happening from all that chaos. But they manage to get themselves off to the side in the catacombs as the dinosaurs all run by the catacombs and they avoid getting trampled. But in this hallway, they discover boxes full of bugs. Those locusts are in a bunch of boxes being transported, and then the bugs get out, get the flamethrower. The bugs are on the loose. They do manage to the bugs essentially cause enough extra chaos to help them avoid getting eaten by stray dinosaurs, and they hide inside this clear walled office room inside the tunnel that has partially opaque walls. So they see 1,000 bugs cling to the outside of the walls. You just see the silhouettes of their underbellies as they're sticking to it and buzzing and creeping around and stuff. And something about seeing them clung to a clear wall like that is so icky to me. I don't like it. But they hide inside this office room, and I like how we see there's a little detail with Davi because he's wearing glasses where we see him as he's just having a normal conversation, he uses his finger to push his glasses back into position in a normal not anime way. You know how in anime when they go huh, they push their glasses up and it does a white reflection on the glasses as they're I'm saying something really intelligent and interesting that you didn't see coming. Glasses push up. It's not like that. This is just he's talking and his glasses slid down the bridge of his nose a little bit and he just kind of pushes them up. It's just those little details, really personal things. It's somebody who wears glasses or knows somebody that wears glasses animated this and knows that they'll just be fixing their glasses randomly because it happens. And I appreciate that as a glasses wearer. Anyway, so they're having that conversation and then the bugs start to bust in. The bugs are breaking in. Then as that's happening, obviously drama. So we switch over back to Sammy and Kenji and all them. And I think Kenji also got buried in the snow. I don't remember, but I wrote somebody get Kenji a blanket. Man's chilled over. They get hot cocoa, which is pretty sick. And then apparently we discover that they actually somehow reclaimed Bumpy. Biosyn stole Bumpy back at Biosyn Valley? What the fuck? We learn about that, and it's a great. So now Bumpy's been taken, and obviously, for some reason, Bumpy is the epicenter of everybody's interest. I don't get it. Nobody should be caring that much about Bumpy. Then the cringiest thing happens, where we switch back to Darius and all them from all the bugs, and even though they get swarmed by the bugs, but they deal with the bugs, and they're now they're clear, there's no bugs around them. The fucking trope that happens where he is get him off, and he's flailing and he's flapping his arms at nothing, spinning around, dropping down, and it's just freaking out as if he's covered in bugs, but there's no bugs. And then it's camera angle showing Ben freaking out. Camera angle switch to all the group standing there looking at him huh, what an idiot. What are you doing, Ben? There's no bugs on you. Switch back to Ben. Huh, oh, whoops, guys. I thought there were bugs on me. It's that shit. I hate that so fucking much to show somebody continue to freak out even though there's clearly nothing there. These bugs are the size of Rottweilers. You would know if you had one on you. It's just such a dumb little, haha, I'm a kid and I'm laughing at this idiot because he thinks there's bugs on him kind of shit. I hate that fucking crap. Anyway, switch back to Brooklyn and switch back to Brooklyn after her and Penis Head Lady fought in the back of the truck. They're separated, I think, and Broker is also here too now, and shit is just a big old mess. Broker is being held at gunpoint, and I don't remember that being part of the movie. Is that a part of the movie? I don't remember. I don't remember her. I don't know if she was being held at gunpoint at some point. Anyway, so Broker then blows something up and releases the raptors. I don't know how anyone could be so calm around these dinosaurs, even if they have full control over it, but all it takes is one bite and they're fast. So she just trusts these raptors, whatever. Anyway, so Brooklyn Now, after like this black marketplace has gotten blown up, Brooklyn is trapped under some rubble, and I don't know if the broker even knows that Brooklyn was even there, or that if Brooklyn was plotting against her. She doesn't. I believe we come back later, and Broker still thinks that Brooklyn was on her side. So she didn't even realize that Brooklyn was in the back of that truck and everything like that when she blew up this marketplace. So her partner in crime is just trapped under a giant steel beam or whatever have you and is pinned. So and then Brooklyn's trapped, and Penis Head Lady comes out of nowhere, is standing above her like, "I got you now, motherfucker." And Brooklyn's like, "Dog, I helped you out. We're friends. Get me out of here." It's like, you fucking betrayed her. You tried to push her out of the back of a truck during a bad business deal that was resulting in gunfire. The second bullets started going off, you tried to kick her out of the back of the truck. What do you mean you helped her? You're so fucking stupid. Penis Head Lady leaves, and Brooklyn gets herself out, of course. And then we do see that also amongst the rubble, Barry, the Frenchman, is still alive because he was there during that, and he's alive from the explosion. Whatever, he's good. They don't meet up. It's just it's important to see that he's there and alive. Now we go back to Darius and their group, and there's a big ass dinosaur that's stalking them throughout what's left of the other parts of the market. And God, dinosaurs are so scary. It's just creeping around. And I said, "Hey, just tell the dinosaur to go away. He legally has to if you ask him." And then they discover, hey, guess what? Brooklyn's robot arm had a flash drive in it. Check this shit out. A flash drive just fell out of the arm. So cool. And then we switch outside and we see that the dinosaurs from the black market are running amok in town as they do in the movie. And then we see that Broker and Penis Head Lady are on the streets, and Penis Head Lady is chasing after Broker. So there's a lot of moving parts happening. I'm sorry if you can't keep up, because I can't really keep up because I'm just going off my notes. I can kind of, if you've seen the show, then you know what's going on, what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen the show, then you might be a little lost. I apologize. So Darius, you know those like flying mini T-Rex looking pterodon things? They're like the mini pterodactyls with a giant Tyrannosaurus head on it. Darius just got full on kicked by one of those motherfuckers, but he's okay. Anyways, so of course, as they're running around the city trying not to get stampeded and eaten and stuff like that, they find a van that's big enough for all of them that has the keys in it. Great. Broker is heading for a helicopter pad in like the middle of a coliseum, and I wrote again, I don't remember the movie, but doesn't she die in the movie? I don't remember, but as I'm watching this, that's my thought. I can't remember if she died or not. I thought she died in the movie. I guess she just went to jail. I don't know. That's the end of the episode. So to recap what's going on here to get everyone in place, the broker is heading towards a helicopter that's in like the middle of a little coliseum away from the dinosaurs. Penis Head Lady is chasing after her. Brooklyn is chasing after Penis Head Lady, and Darius, who is it? Darius, Ben, who else is there? Yasmina. I think Darius, Ben, and Yasmina are the only three. I don't know. And they're in a van heading towards chasing after Brooklyn. So everyone's kind of converging onto one point. Episode 10, the finale. My first note here is, can we please get the gang back together and have Brooklyn actually give a shit about their relationships? I don't know why I wrote that. Something made me write that. So Penis Head Lady has her whistle as we arrive. I think we get to the point where Brooklyn, Penis Head Lady, and Broker are in the Coliseum waiting for like the helicopter and stuff like that. And Penis Head Lady starts blowing on her whistle to call her raptors. And we do see that they hear it in the town. They're kind of spread out, and they coming. They're on the way. And then I say in my notes, "Bitch, say something, please. I just want Penis Head Lady to speak a word." We switch over to see, as the group is on their way trying to get to Brooklyn and stuff, that some dude on a moped just got run over by one of those hard hat dinosaurs. And you're telling me that Ben traced Barry's phone, even though it's off, and he's French special intelligence? You think that he would have the preventions on his phone from being traced, but Ben managed to like track down his phone and location to meet up with Barry? That's crazy. Damn, dude. As they're driving around, some dude just got eaten by a big dinosaur. That was crazy. They're out of the the van thing, and they're riding mopeds into battle, I guess. Of course they have, and they're done with the van or whatever. If they were ever driving the van, I don't remember. Now the group's riding mopeds into battle, and they're weaving through the streets on mopeds, avoiding dinosaurs. But of course, they're all wearing helmets. Safety first. All those kids watching as you're weaving through man-eating dinosaurs, make sure you wear your helmet. So they're using mopeds and flares to lure the dinosaurs out of town and back into the catacombs, because of course, flares can't not have a fucking callback to the other movies. Now switching back, Penis Head Lady punches Broker, but Broker got moves and they scrapping. Now, when the Raptors arrive, we get to see where their loyalties really lie. Then there's a headbutt, which is pretty violent for a kid's show. I'm pretty sure that's illegal to show in the United Kingdom. You can't show headbutts, it's too violent or something. So they're kind of scrapping, and we see that the broker still does trust Brooklyn, so she doesn't know anything about Brooklyn's betrayal, and Penis Head Lady doesn't fucking speak, so she's not going to rat her out. And then we get a standoff. Penis Head Lady's whistle versus Broker's remote. This is where it gets interesting. So Broker has the Raptors basically pinning down, staring face to face with Penis Head Lady, and she's whistling, and she reaches her hand out to pet the Raptors and to show that she is her friend, that they are friends and family. And then, oh fuck, the Raptor just bit the shit out of her arm, and she actually screams. Dude, Penis Head Lady gets bit, and the other Raptors hear the scream. So I guess not all the Raptors showed up at this point. I didn't write that down. I didn't specify my notes, but only some Raptors were here. So the other Raptors hear the scream, and they're on their way. And it was kind of sad to see. It was really kind of sad to see that she got bit by her raptor. She bit the hand. The raptor bit the hand that feeds, and but she's alive, and she literally fucking slaps the dinosaur. It like bites her bicep, I think, bicep to shoulder, like that area, and she slaps the fuck out of it. And so she gives a little like naughty slap, and it actually responds to that instead of killing her. It's like, oh, okay, my bad, G. And the others show up. Now all the raptors are here, and they're defending her. The laser is not working, but the whistle is. Crazy, dude. She just made that raptor her bitch, and now they're all on her side. And then we switch over, we see Darius wipes out, which kind of sucks. He kind of crashes a little bit, and a Triceratops knocks him off. But Yasmina got his ass on her moped, so they're okay. They're still doing their dinosaur redirecting shit. Switch over, and Broker is now summoning something else with the remote. We get a boss fight. So the Carnotaurus shows up. And I don't know. I wrote down, is that the burned one? The one from Camp Cretaceous? It looks like it, but it's hard to tell. There's no way it's the burned one, right? I don't remember. I want to go back and watch Camp Cretaceous. It was really good. I'm going to start watching it again. Dinosaur fight time. Pokemon battle. So it's literally essentially a Pokemon battle because Penis Head Lady is whistling, commanding her Pokemon, and Broker is using her remote to command her Pokemon. And oh fuck, Carnotaurus has moves. This thing fucking choke slams a raptor and it's basically dead. KO, instantly knocked the fuck out. Ring out. Its soul is outside of its body and it's counting down from 10, dude. This thing is dead. And so Penis Head Lady is so sad to see her dinosaur get absolutely curb stomped. Which, yeah, of course. But as this fight's happening, Penis Head Lady speaks. She yells, "Stop!" And things go silent. The voice actress has one word. The voice actress, who is Somali Montano, I think. Yeah, Somali Montano, I believe, is a voice actress, yells, "Stop!" And she gets in front of the Carnotaurus. I wrote in all caps, why am I so invested in her? What is her phone number? And she gets in front of the Carnotaurus with one of her raptors dead on the ground. The other one's kind of like near her or injured or whatever. And she's mad dogging this fucking Carnotaurus. She's doing the fucking Owen Grady hand thing where she's putting her hand out like as if she has any authority over this fucking dinosaur. And it's tense and it's silent. And I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. I'm sitting here thinking, like, is it going to kill her? Is she actually going to convince it to walk away? Is she going to get saved by one of the raptors? Like, what's going to happen? No. Big fucking no. In a sharp, quiet, climactic moment, the Carnotaurus just chomps down on her. All the way down, just takes a whole bite down to her waist, lifts her up, and fucking swallows her. I am so upset and also genuinely terrified. That is probably one of the worst ways to die. I think being bitten down by a dinosaur, you're not dead instantly, and just having your face on its tongue at the back of its throat, and then watching as it just swallows you, as your broken, mangled body gets crushed down its esophagus, and then will be slowly dissolved in its stomach acids with no way out. No gun to even take yourself out with. That is the most horrifying thing I can imagine. And she's dead. And I am mad. She was my favorite character of this series, second series. The Raptors see this and are fucking scared. The Carnotaurus cannot be reasoned with. He cares not. The Raptors, they outie, dude. They leave. Then at that moment, Darius and Yasmina show up, and they're pleading with they're pleading with Brooklyn and everybody, using her arm as a gesture, which made me laugh. Just like, no, we can blah blah this, and like flailing her arm around as like some, I don't know, whatever. Um, and I love how during this whole elongated conversation between Darius, Yasmina, Brooklyn, Broker, and all them, the Carnotaurus is just standing patiently, not eating anybody. It's not even in frame. We don't even like see it in the background as like a blurred shadow. It's just like not in frame anymore. It despawned. It's no longer there. It's there. It's just not doing anything now. Um, I'm not even joking. I just made myself nauseous and lightheaded, fully envisioning being swallowed by that dinosaur and dying that gruesome death. I just made myself actually like anxious and sick. That's how much that fucks me up. I don't like that. Anyway, so Brooklyn, in that moment, is still playing her role because she obviously still has to pretend like she's on Broker's side, and she grabs the remote and lasers at Darius to threaten him with the Carnotaurus to appease the Broker. And I wrote, just use it to eat the Broker. It might be a little bit full, but like it'll eat the Broker, dude. Why are you doing this? I know you want her to be arrested, so that way with her arrest, she can stand trial and we can get like all this stuff will come to Earth. If she's dead, then it'll be a lot harder to bring it all to Earth. To light, not to Earth, to bring it all to light, whatever have you. But like, there is no fucking reason for this. And then the Carnotaurus gets shot by a bunch of darts, by a bunch of sleepy darts, and the Broker realizes that Brooklyn was just stalling. The French are here. Brooklyn smashes the remote, bam, 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 and the truth comes out. And at that moment, once the Broker is told everything, basically, and she's getting ready to be arrested by the French, ha ha wee wee, the Broker tries to lunge at her and literally gets bitch slapped by the robot arm, which is crazy. The limp robot arm in her hand, she just whips it across her face. Genuinely hilarious. And now we can reconcile. Group hug. They're all hugging. All the friends realize that she was bluffing at before it even came out that she was stalling. They realized what she was doing and they were playing along with her, which is like, no, you didn't. I mean, I know you guys were on the same side, but like you didn't have that like telepathic communication to just know what the plan was. So Camp Fam are together. Brooklyn's good again, and they get a ride in a helicopter, and they're going where exactly? I don't know, and I don't know who's driving. I don't know what's going on there, but they're out. They're gone. They're leaving. They're all together. Switch back to Sam and Kenji, and I'm trying to remember what's going on. And oh right, they're going after. They're going to find Bumpy now. That's at another facility. So the end of the season, Broker's arrested. Penis Head Lady is dead. Big sad. The group is back together. Brooklyn's on their side again. Sammy and Kenji don't know that Brooklyn's on their side again, doesn't know any of this transpired, and those two are going after Biosyn, going after the Biosyn facility where Bumpy had been taken to. So, not the most exciting start for what would be the fourth season. There's not like a whole big driving force because like the main antagonist was dealt with. The main plot of Brooklyn is mostly dealt with. Penis Head Lady, the biggest threat, is dealt with. The biggest threat now is what, Dodson? So, the end of the season, thoughts. I'm excited that they can finally clear the air and Brooklyn is back on their team. I'm interested to see what Kenji and Sammy's reaction will be, of course, and how they're going to handle Darius's whole, like, loving her thing, because that's probably going to come back to light. Um, and it's going to be stupid. They're going to be immature, because they're going to have Brooklyn come through, and Sammy and Kenji are going to, like, not forgive her, and they're going to be really cold and mean and stuff like that, but I do think that Kenji's still going to give her a big old kiss and they're going to get back together or something like that. I don't know, because I feel he is immature and petty enough to just like still hold that against her, which fair enough, but also, dog, come on. I know I imagine Sammy and Yasmina will get back together, but I still think they're gonna hold that differing opinion thing against each other, and also, you know, dig through all of their past years bullshit. But yeah, I'm guessing Dogson will be the new antagonist, but not forever since he does die in Jurassic World. He dies in those like maintenance tunnels at the end of the movie. So like anyway, that's gonna do it for this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments or wherever below. I'm sorry that this was a little bit disjointed. Again, I was reading off of notes that were a couple of weeks old at this point. I'm glad I finally got around to doing this because I needed to, but that was an hour and 20-minute long recording. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.